even at the cost of a total war between China and the United States in terms of tariff war or trade war or otherwise. This is the firm decision of China. China will never cry uncle or go to Washington with its hat in its hand and beg for something. This is not the way China is doing. Remember what I say, and let's wait for another day or another week or less than 4 years to come and to see what will happen.
Do you mean when you refer to any other kind of war? What do you mean by that?
Multiple wars. You are talking about the tariff war, the trade war, the technology war, the talent war, the energy war, and the threatened military war of different kinds, including proxy war, etc. I think China is fully prepared to deal with the United States as it is, as friend if they want to be, as a foe if they want to be, in any way, peace or otherwise.
This is probably like super toxic to say, but I realize that the reason why bitches be staying with toxic ass men is because they be loving them right. Run that back. The reason why bitches stay with toxic men is because they be loving them right. Meaning that the love is so good and it's so strong, it's so locked in, that anything else he does outside of that, whether it's disrespectful, fucked up, not for your future, setting you back, whatever, you're gonna overlook all those things because he loves you right.
Okay, people, welcome back. I had a mean case of the sniffles that kind of took me out of commission, so I had to give you guys the robo voice, but I'm back. Okay, so you guys heard what this woman had to say. She's over here talking about how toxic love is the best love and everything like that. We've all heard it before. And I'm just going to go ahead and tell you guys right now, she's not talking about love. She's talking about sex. What she's essentially saying is these toxic guys, the broke guys, the guys that they shouldn't be dating, the guys that their uncle and their dad and their brother and every other responsible man has told them to avoid, those guys are just so good in bed that they look past all the other things that that guy might do. Okay, we all know this to be a fact. We all know this is just kind of what it is. Women like the bad boys. We know this. And obviously we know that women, they're all about the thrill. They like to be thrilled and they like the chase of the thing. Like they don't like good guys because when they have the good guy, they don't have anything to fix, right? This is a misplaced form of nurturing, right? Just like women like to have kids, right? And they like to raise the kid and, the kid needs them for all these things. That toxic, broke down, horrible guy, that guy is a train wreck in terms of life. And she, on one hand, thinks that she can fix him. And then on the other hand, she understands that there's not going to be any responsibility on his end. Like she knows that he's not going to hold her responsible for anything. So it's easier for her to be carefree. It's easy for her to walk into that relationship, and it's easy for her to love that guy because she knows there's no expectations that are ever going to come her way. Okay, there's a lot of psychology, there's a lot of pseudoscience and sociology involved. That's not what I want to touch on. What I want you guys to understand is this is exactly why you don't date these older women. When these women start getting old, they get past like 25, they start pushing 30, they start wanting those, relationships, they start wanting babies, they start talking about where the good men go. I want you guys to remember this, right? Every woman has this phase. I don't even know if you can really call it a phase because realistically, this is just kind of what they are. Like they want these horrible guys until it's time to get serious. And they think that they're supposed to be able to date these men from like 15 to 30. And then you are supposed to, as a good man, take them off the market, give them a life, make them a wife, give them kids, and not hold them accountable for the life that they've previously lived. And then all of the toxic stuff that guy did, all the cheating, all the abuse, all the hitting on her, all the everything, right? If he ever violated her within the bounds of that relationship, like let's say intimately, everything that man did, you're expected to fix that. And so this is why I tell you guys, you need to be focusing on your money. If you are over the age of 25, you really need to stay away from women who are over that same age. Once you get over 25, you got to understand the women that you're dealing with, they're going to be 100% damaged. This is why you just focus on the money, and this is why you put yourself in a better position to date younger women. You want to make yourself attractive to the largest number of women. You know, there's good women at every age, but you want to make sure that you're in the best position to date, because this is exactly what you're going to run into. This is why these women are always damaged, because they have access to all these men, both good and bad, and they exclusively choose the bad guy. They know these guys are bad. 100% they know, but this is what they choose. So this is why I tell you, put yourself in a better position, focus on the bag, and make sure that when it's time for you to select a woman, you're choosing young. You want to choose young and unadulterated, both physically, which is almost going to be an impossibility, but both physically and mentally, and especially emotionally.
Fellas, what are we thinking? Girls like this make me want to go make more money. This statement has multiple meanings, but let me address the part where I think most guys are coming from. Most guys think the second I make more money, I will now feel validated to go after a girl like this. What they're saying to me is, I don't feel valuable to go after a girl like her until my net worth is a certain number. And then, and only then, will I approach a girl like this. And this exact mindset is why a lot of guys don't get attractive girls, is because they think they have to have a number in a bank account or a certain car or house to validate their confidence. You don't know this girl. This girl's ex-boyfriend could have been a bum who rolled up subs at Jersey Mike's or was a barista at Starbucks. A lot of times guys look at beautiful women and assume just because they're hot, they deal with the richest and most successful men. That's not always the case. In my opinion, as long as you have your own apartment, own car, approach this girl anyway. In conclusion, if your confidence has to be greenlighted by a dollar amount in your bank account, you'll never truly be confident, because money is never enough. You get it? Well, maybe when I'm worth $1 million, maybe when I'm worth 10 million, and the number keeps going. If you don't feel that way internally in here, you'll never be confident to have this type of girl.
Okay, so we have what appears to be a young game guy. This guy is one of those guys who believes that all he needs is game, and that will be enough to get the girl and win the day. Now, I don't want to destroy anybody's confidence when it comes to things like that. This guy looks to be kind of young, maybe in his early to mid 20s, and that's exactly the age where you would expect people to be relying on game. From 18 to about 22, that's going to be your college age. That's the ages where game probably will work, right? But we have to understand something. In 2025, the game is dead, right? This idea that you're going to be dating and you're honestly going to be pulling girls without money, that day is dead, okay? I don't want to crush your guys' spirits, but I want you to understand. I always tell you, you need to be focusing on getting more money so you have better leverage and better options for whatever girl you deal with. But at the same time, the leverage and the options and the money is going to open up the window. It's going to open up the door to other women that you wouldn't ordinarily have access to. Like, sure, you technically have access to any woman that you see outside. You can walk out your house and you can go for a stroll through the park and you can talk to every woman who's there. And you can go to the mall and you can talk to every woman who's there. So yeah, you technically have access to all those women. But do you have any realistic ability to get that woman on a date and to get her in bed or to get a marriage out of her? And the answer is going to be an astounding no. The woman in that particular picture that he's showing you, the girl's name was Rachel Cook. Now, Rachel Cook is a very famous Instagram model, and that's who he's replying to. Now, I don't know if he knew that girl was famous, but let's go with the idea that he did not know that she was very, very famous. Regardless to whether or not she's famous and is making her own money, in 2025, 100% of women have the ability to monetize themselves, right? They can hop on Twitter, right? Twitter is coming up with a payment system. They can hop on Instagram, right? They can get paid through Instagram. They can get sponsorships if they have a good enough social media presence, or they can get men to sponsor them, through Instagram by just sending them Zelles, Venmos, Cash Apps. Women always put their payment methods into their social medias, right? They also have Amazon wish lists and Target wish lists where people can just spoil them and give them things, and men do these things, right? So women are monetized in various forms and fashions. So you have to think to yourself, why would a woman deal with you if she's not going to get any benefit? I want you to think about it from this perspective. We saw what's going on with Shannon Sharpe. Now, Shannon Sharpe, I liked him as a football player, but the man looks like a daggum gorilla. He's ugly. He is objectively ugly. So how did he get with that very young, fairly beautiful woman? She's like 20 or 22. Like, she's super young. He got with her because he has money. He got with her because he has social clout and everything like that. Bill Belichick, that man is dating an out and out psychopath. That girl just seems like a crazy, crazy person. But she's objectively beautiful and he has access to her. How? Why? It's because he has lots of money and he's famous. Now, I'm not saying that you have to be that famous. You don't have to be Shannon Sharpe and you don't have to have tens of millions of dollars, but you do have to have something to offer. Why? Mostly because every woman you deal with is going to be dealing with a guy who has something to offer. Almost every woman, like I said, is out here getting monetized. So this idea that you're just going to walk out the house after doing a bunch of push-ups and having your chest on swole, and you're just going to walk up to a girl with a whole bunch of confidence and you're going to be able to get that girl, that's foolishness. That's nonsense, right? That's old school game. I hate to say this, but it's broke boy behavior. Like, you're thinking broke. The game has changed and a lot of guys are getting priced out of dating and marriage and love and whatever else you want from a woman because they have access to money, whether it's simps giving them the money or whether it's them working, going to college or, monetizing themselves with social media. It doesn't matter. Women have so much access to money. You can't just show up with a mouthpiece and think you're going to get anything. Now, sure, you could be the toxic guy, right? Like the girl in the previous video. Toxic guys are fun. Yay. Okay, well, you could be that guy working at Jersey Mike's and rolling up subs and everything like that. But are you tall and toxic? Can you make her toes curl? Do you give her the butterflies and the tingles? Are her friends giggling and giddy about you? Do you give her something to talk about? Right? If you're just this toxic guy and you're tall and you're handsome and you're a jerk and you got a dead end life, but you're so exciting, sure, she'll date you. She'll stay with you for a while, probably even too long, but your life won't go anywhere. Her life won't really go anywhere, but she'll have an ejection plan. She will definitely have a plan to level up and leave you. The point is, unless you're the super fun, tall, handsome, exciting, toxic guy, game isn't going to do anything for you, right? You need to get your bag up, because when you get your bag up, you get your options up, you get your leverage up, and everything is going to elevate for you. This is not, and keep in mind, this guy's channel on Instagram is called Defund Simping. It's not simping to understand that money opens up doors and it opens up opportunities and it puts you in a better place in all regards of life. That's not simping. That's just common sense. And in 2025, that's the basic requirement. We got to move past this game stuff.
If you under 25 and you don't like her and she done come up pregnant and y'all was just fucking, y'all met at the club, fuck that baby. Nigga, fuck trying to raise that baby. Get yourself together, nigga. Work on your credit. Get a baby 10 years. Wait till the baby 10, 11, 12 years old, and then you show back up as a daddy with something to get a baby. Once you show up and you give a motherfucker something, you can be gone all day life. Just leave them something. They'll love you at the graveyard. You ain't never got to be in them kids' life. Leave a hell of a motherfucking insurance policy. They go be bragging about my daddy left me an insurance policy, but he didn't raise me. So you ain't got to be in them kids' life, nigga. Fuck them kids. But if you love the woman, you be in the kids' life. But if y'all just fucking, let another nigga raise them kids. Please. Nigga. And let the kids grow up. And let them kids have a better understanding that they mama wasn't shit. Cause they gonna try to blame you guys. They gonna try to make you guys feel like you was a horrible piece of man because you walked away from the baby. And I just want to tell you niggas something. A present mother is way more detrimental than an absent father.
So what about Anthony Edwards though?
He did the right thing.
You think he did the right
He's
thing?
He's a hero. Anthony Edwards, you got Jesus, Martin Luther King, then Anthony Edwards. In that order.
In that order?
Man, he third next to the Christ.
Oh man.
Man, think about what this nigga Anthony Edwards done did. He got a whole.
Okay, so that was Charleston White. You know him. You may or may not love him. He's a bit of a character. He's always online playing the role of a character, of a comedian, the country bumpkin, everything like that. So you never really know what to take serious from this guy. So I'm just going to go ahead and give him the benefit of the doubt and just say that he's, trolling and being a character. Because for the most part, he is always talking about helping kids out and stuff like that. So I'm just going to go ahead and say that he's being a clown. Now, he did say some things that are somewhat true. And I want to address the last part of his message that he didn't quite get to. So I'll do that. I'll do that last. The first thing that he did say that is kind of true. He was saying, if you get this woman pregnant and y'all was just having sex and there's a baby that results of it, he was basically saying it's better to leave that kid for about 10 years and then pop back up with something in hand. Now, he's not entirely wrong. I think 10 years is a little bit too long. I know back in my day, I know tons of guys who got a girl pregnant and what they ended up doing was just going to the army, and they go to the army for like 4 years. They're sending checks home to take care of the kid, to make sure that the woman has a place to stay, everything like that. And they're helping out with the kid financially, at least from that standpoint. And then at the end of that 4 years, they either get out of the army and they come back and they're a family with that woman and that child, or they get out and they come back, they go to college, they use the Montgomery GI Bill at the time, and they go to like trade school, and then, they're in the kid's life, something like that. But he was saying, just leave for like a period of 10 years. I think 10 years is a bit excessive, but I think it's better to leave that kid for, 4 to 6 years. It's better to leave the kid for some small period of time where the kid's not going to necessarily remember it, or it won't be super duper impactful, and then go work on yourself, get your degree, get your education, join the military, something like that. That way you can actually provide. I do agree with that because I've seen that, and it's better than not having anything. Now, his whole thing was, go and get an insurance policy and just work and just leave the kids kind of on their own. I don't agree with that, but like I said, I think he's just clowning and trolling. But that's that portion. Now, what he was about to say was the situation that you guys may or may not know about. And that situation is he got a girl pregnant. I think she's like an Instagram chick or a video chick, whatever. And he gets this girl pregnant, and he says he doesn't want anything to do with the baby. So the woman puts him on child support, and I forget what the amount was, but he just calculated the amount out 18 years, and he paid the whole thing all at once. Now, here's where my problem comes in with this. A lot of people are thinking, including Charleston, they're thinking that he did a good thing. They're thinking that he's smart, that he outsmarted the system. Like, oh, he ain't got to pay no child support. He ended up giving this woman like $1.8 million or like 1.08 million, like 1,080,000. So they think that he's going to write this one-time check and then that's it. Here's the problem. When it comes to child support is an open case until the kid turns 18, right? Child support is not between you and the state. It's between you and the child can't advocate for themselves. So the state advocates for the child. So at any point in time, this woman can take Anthony Edwards back for an increase of child support, right? If Anthony Edwards goes and he signs a Supermax deal, that woman can take him back to court. You guys have to understand, family court and civil court are absolutely in no way, shape, or form the same things. People think that the judgment rendered in child support is a final judgment. It's not a final judgment till that kid turns 18. So let's say he goes out there, he signs a Supermax. That kid is entitled to that Supermax money. That's his money. Like the judge is going to 100% grant that increase. So if he double, if like he paid her like $1 million. So that woman can say, oh, I want a 2x or a 3x increase. Guess what? You're going to have to give her $2 or $3 million. Like it's not going to stop. Every time he gets any kind of bonus, the kid is entitled to that bonus. If you get in, I think there's a bonus for winning a championship in the NBA. So if they win the championship, guess what? That kid is entitled to that. If he gets any endorsement deals, the kid is entitled to your endorsement deals. The case is not closed just because you wrote a one-time check. Then we have to think about the fact that this kid could be special needs. Everybody's autistic these days. If that woman takes that kid to a specialist and gets him, some sort of autism diagnosis, guess what's going to happen? You got to pay an increase. You got to pay for his special needs schools. If that kid is known as Anthony Edwards' child, and all of a sudden he's getting bullied at school, and the mom says, I want my kid to go to private schools because he's getting bullied for being your kid and you ain't in his life. Guess what? You're going to have to pay for that. And if you don't pay for it, she's just going to get an increase. So it's not done. It's an open case. It doesn't just go away because you wrote one check one time. That kid cannot advocate for itself, so the state will do the advocation, right? And child support is obviously between the father and the child, or the parents and the child. So it's not for the mom, but we know the mom is going to spend that stuff on herself. But what I want you guys to understand is, if this comes across your timeline and people are saying, oh man, Anthony Edwards, he's so smart. He's not. All he did was shot himself in the foot and gave that woman a $1 million check to essentially fight him in court. Now all you've done is given her more life to fight you, because she has so much incentive to come after you for so much more money, and she's gonna do it. So I don't actually know if this situation is real as it's stated, but if it is, this is not a good thing. And all he did was put himself in a worse position from start to finish.
Cheat on him. If he cheats on you, you cheat on him back. There's no long paragraphs. There's no yelling. There's no crying. I don't care if you have to go find his dad, his brother, his best friend. I don't care if you have to lie about it. You are going to cheat back, and you're going to make that a stipulation at the beginning of your relationship. You're going to say, if you cheat on me, I just want you to know that I will be cheating on you back, and anybody is fair game. So if it happens, which happens way too much, you get to follow through. You're not betraying. You're not betraying. You already said the boundary. This was this. That is your consequence. And you'll make sure you look them dead in the eye when you say, oh, by the way, I slept with this and this because I found out about yours. And you're walking out the door. You're not going back. The high road. It feels good to get revenge.
Okay. So I don't know how many of you guys have been watching my channel for any length of time, but if you have, I have talked about this a few times now. This is what I call scorekeeping. And this is also a part of what I've talked about in the past when I told you guys women will stick around long enough to get their lick back, right? They will stick around in a relationship long enough to get revenge if you do something to them. Now, I'm never going to be the one who condones cheating. Don't cheat on your wife. Don't cheat on your girlfriend. That's dirtbag behavior. That's what, little boys do. I'm never going to be the one to advocate for that. But if you cheat on her, you might as well just break up. You might as well just break up. She will either find out about it, or she'll already know about it, and then this kind of stuff happens. Now, I'm not saying that she shouldn't get revenge. I'm just simply saying when you dig one grave, you might as well dig two, because you end up destroying yourself in the process. We all know, we've all heard the Proverbs and the Marcus Aurelius Stoicism and all that kind of stuff. The point of the matter is, you guys have to understand, you don't necessarily have to cheat on a woman to make her want to get her lick back. There's a lot of things that you can do to make her decide in her mind she wants to get revenge. And a lot of you guys either have been, are in, or will be in relationships where this woman is doing all these little petty things. She's doing all kinds of things to cause issues in the relationship. And it's like, that it's intentional, but you can't necessarily prove it. These fights are coming out of nowhere, but you can't necessarily pinpoint why. And you'll be thinking, like, what did I do? Did I do something? Is she mad at me? Like you'll be going over this in your mind, and she's not going to tell you. And it'll be some stuff from long ago. It'll be 3 months ago, 6 months ago, a year ago. She's picking her spots to get her lick in for something that you did or something that you said or a way that you made her feel. Women are petty like that. They like to keep score. I did this, so you have to do this, right? You see this a lot when women talk about the equitable division of household labor and stuff like that. They want to make sure if there's 20 things to do in the house, you do 10 and they do 10. And they want to make sure your 10 are just as arduous as their 10 and, stuff like that. But this goes a little bit deeper. I'm going to put it to you guys just like this. When you start experiencing stuff like that, you got to sit that woman down and say, hey, you're obviously pissed off about something. You need to speak up now or I'm just going to get rid of you. That's number one. Like, you got to put her on blast. It's not coming out of nowhere. She's not just in a mood. It's not just that time of month. No, it's none of that. She's pissed off about something and she's trying to get her lick back, and she's going to keep getting her licks in because it's just not good enough. Because if she gets her lick in for something that you've done in the past and you take it on the chin, you take it really well, that don't count. She wants to actually hurt you. Women are malicious like this. This is why I always say you got to get your money right so that everything else falls in line. When you have money, like having money, understand, it's not going to fix every problem. It's not going to help you avoid every problem that a woman might cause, but it does usually give her pause to think about what she's doing. Does she want to blow this opportunity that she has with you? Most women will say, okay, this guy makes good money. He's in a good apartment. He's driving a good car. He lives in a good, place. Right? They will just take a mental note of all the benefits that come with being with you, and they will typically check themselves. Right? This is when they start crying and they'll actually say, you did this and you did that and blah, blah, blah. They will actually somewhat communicate. They'll huff and they'll puff and they'll be in a bitchy mood, but they won't actually do things because they are actually thinking about the benefits of being with you. But when there's no perceived benefit, that's when they actually start taking the licks and things like that. So I'm not telling you to do your girl dirty. I'm just saying when you have leverage and options, it kind of staves off her wanting to take her shots. But when you start seeing her take those shots, you got two options. Either call her out directly and tell her to, expound on what the problem is so y'all can squash it, or you just get rid of her. There's really no in between.